This is Who Are We Voting For? Meet the candidates. I put these videos together so you could put a name to a face to the candidates that you're voting for. So we don't go into the voting booth wondering who we're voting for. This is for the voters and not for the candidates, so we are more educated as voters.
I'm Carlos Thomas. I'm a chef. I'm a father. Originally, my family started in Morris, PA, as the only black family in the entire Morris area in a high school. At some point in time, we moved to Pittsburgh, and we've been here pretty much for as long as I could ever remember. In fact, we've lived in like generally this area for as much as I can remember. For the past 30, I'll be 32 on Monday. So for the past 32 years, I've lived in pretty much the east side of Pittsburgh, from Bloomfield to Wilkinsburg, East Liberty, Homewood, Highland Park. I lived pretty much all over these places. So I've become very familiar with how things have changed, how things have not changed. So I have 5 kids, probably in the most untraditional way to speak of, but I claim that to be kind of a part of my upbringing and kind of what things played in to play with that. A lot of people look at it as like a negative front, but I've been very blessed because each one of my kids have taught me a different aspect of life that I wasn't taught in my childhood. I have become responsible for returning that and raising them to be the best, most productive humans that they can be, which is probably one of the most important, is 100% the most important thing to me. I'm outside of making sure that I'm healthy enough to play that role for them. Um, so that's for the most part everything about me. I've been able to use my career as a chef to have a career. I graduated from Le Cordon Bleu in 2011, and during that time, I found out that being a chef was only really a job per se, recognizable by the labor industry since 1989, which makes me roughly 2 years older than the industry as a whole. But our history goes back so deep, back to some of the first presidents, back before the presidents. Like the existence of food in general is where we, coined some of the most advantageous culinary desires that we have in society to know. So using that history, I've been able to pretty much formulate a whole career for myself, moving from the restaurant, becoming a private chef, being able to also be a voice for other chefs that are in the industry and kind of, going through it. Chef is a general term for somebody who cooks, but chefs just don't cook. There are chefs out here who grow food. There are chefs out here who do marketing around food. There are chefs out here who help people become better chefs or cooks at their home, become better parents. So when we take all of that and wrap it into the term chef, it kind of doesn't really give itself enough grace, for lack of better words. So I try to be an example of that, especially being I guess, a more or less a well-known chef within the city, having built early connections in not just the culinary industry, but the food industry as a whole. So I know that I can run for this seat, County Council District 10, because I'm from here. I know, have lived literally every issue that this county has ever dished out to specifically a black man, but to its citizens in general. From clean air, clean water, food apartheid, food insecurity, land access, just overall the resources that this county has afforded me as a person, as a resident, don't really add up to economic stability. Um, it kind of perpetuates the system of poverty in a way that doesn't allow for me, a somewhat established person, chef in my career field, to actually thrive. There are a lot of political lines and just barriers all over the place that don't really bring people out of poverty. And I realize that that's not just something that exists in my life. That's something that exists in everybody's life. So understanding, given my history and experience in studying food apartheid, doing the research behind clean water, clean air, and all of our environmental issues, for lack of better words, because these things affect food too, is it gave me the power to run. It pretty much said, hey, if nobody's going to stand up and say something or do something about this, then why not me? If I have the knowledge, if I have the willpower, more importantly, if I have the energy that it's going to take to not only run for this office, but win in this office, and pass legislation and policies that make sense for people that live here, we could honestly have a better region. And with that being said, I won't have to leave, because that's kind of what is on the other side of this, as Pittsburghers, Allegheny County residents, Pennsylvanians even, are leaving. We just lost a congressional seat um, in two elections ago. We're losing residents, specifically Black residents, by the droves, and it's not necessarily because Pittsburgh is a bad place to live. It's not because our region is terrible. 75 degrees today in February. Um, that's a product, of course, of global warming and respect, but it's not. We don't live in a terrible place to live. We don't live in an over industrialized place. At one point in time, we did. We don't live. We don't have a place where we don't have any parks. We don't have a place where we don't have any natural water. But if we don't start to protect these, then we're going to end up becoming one of those places. And that gave me the power to think about what I can do. What is my role in this movement? So some of the skills that I have to run for county council are, number one. I'll start with that, is having the education and ability to build systems that not only work to work, but to work for a specific thing. In this case, being people. As a chef, we build food. We build smaller food systems, budget manage kitchens all the time. It's kind of a thing that comes with the job as you progress in the industry. But my ability to build systems and to communicate those systems effectively, not only to the people working in them, but the people that are also on the other side of this. So there's a receptive part where we, at some point in time, have to be responsible for how we're communicating what we're doing. Whether that's, we're changing the menu, or we ran out of something, or this product is just not of quality to give to you, but can I offer you something else? It's those type of qualities that I have to run for this office. I will also, the customer service. Like, nobody looks. I don't want to say nobody, but a lot of people don't look at being an elected official as a customer service point of view, but it is very much so, because you elected. No, you elect. Yeah, you elected me, and I have, these responsibilities to fulfill. But there's also this aspect of customer service that comes into play, that to even if I don't agree with you, or if I don't think, that we can make your idea happen, or how do we work together, as opposed to just cutting you out. And that's, customer service. I say customer service, but it's a human trait. People don't want to feel like they don't matter. People don't want to feel like their voice isn't heard. I think from an official point of view, is that it's not about the agenda. It's more or less the, how do we make all these things work? How do we give everybody what they want, and within our reach? And I believe that we have a region that could benefit from that. Could become America's most livable city again, or even affordable. But it's only affordable because of the systemic poverty, and that's kind of what has been the issue, for the lack of better words. But I have a good feeling that I am a good problem solver. I could help with issues regarding, issues regarding the county jail. For instance, if we have a health department, there's no reason why we have health issues at a county jail. Our health department should be deeply engaged with the health issues that the county is giving to their citizens. Whether they're incarcerees or not, they're still citizens. And that's something that, again, coming back to the approach of communicating and working for everybody, working in a favor for everybody involved, not just the the the, the COs at the jail or the staff at the jail, but also the incarcerees, because again, they're people. Whether they mismanage their lives is something that we can continue to work on the back end. Understanding where mental health and understanding where, our physical and all the other traumas of systematic poverty, generational systematic poverty. There's some empathy that needs to go into, and I think that's another thing that I have to bring to the table, not only because of experience, but because of just understanding where people are coming from. And that's important to understand how we got where we are, especially if we're going to continue to proclaim that we're solving the issue.
Thank you for watching this video of Pittsburgh Events. To watch this video again or any other video from Pittsburgh Events, you can go to the YouTube channel as 18 Ricco. It's youtube.com/18RICCO. Again, thank you for watching, and you can check out this video and any other video from Pittsburgh Events and many other videos that didn't make it on TV.
So everybody always asks me why I'm running, and I can't help but give the answer that this race is very personal. Given the fact that I was practically raised by this district, I've been to jail. I've dealt with the court system, both in criminal and in civil side. I've dealt with Department of Public Welfare. I've dealt with WIC. I've dealt with CWF. I've probably engaged with almost every system that the county has to offer, whether by choice of mine or by choice of, my upbringing. But regardless of that, has given me a broad aspect to how these systems don't work for people, from transportation to, like I said, the issues at the county jail. The dehumanization of people is a huge problem. Whether they're incarcerated or not, people should still be able to be treated like human beings. And that's not what's happening. This whole dehumanizing thing that comes into play when you're propelled into a system because of misfortune should not be a factor. You should be able to still remain and be a human standing there asking for help. There's nothing that says you're less of or you're belittled more than, or it does. None of that matters when you need help. And that's the society that we've kind of come into, is like asking for help is a point of like fear and not progress. And that's something that I know that I have to bring into this office, is how do we progress out of this generational aspect of, if you need help, then you're not doing it right. Well, who is doing it right? Because the last time I checked, none of us had a freaking manual to say, hey, this is how you live life, or this is how you should do things. Everybody's got an idea of what the manual is, or some faith-based practice behind how they go about it. But as far as perfection, nobody's perfect. I won't be the perfect politician. As far as I checked, there's never been a perfect politician. But I think that the biggest thing, like as I mentioned before, that I know that I can do is figure out how we can work together. Figure out how to everything that everybody has to bring to the table, how it's going to work for the best benefit, not just for District 10, but for the entire county, because we're neighbors and my issues affect you. If I don't have clean water, clean air, if I don't have stormwater mitigation, if I don't have, food and green spaces, then the chances of you're not going to have those things either. And if you do, then we need to figure out how I can get them too, so that when you come to visit, you have a great time. And when I come to visit, you have a good time. We live too close to be having these issues. We think about the issues that happen, halfway across the world when a tsunami hits. Well, what happens when that happens is we get the rain, or we get the storms, or we get whatever. So this whole cause and effect of how we do politics has to have more accountability to that. And that's another thing that I want to bring is accountability. I don't believe that our executive position has had too much accountability for the things that people have wanted. Understanding that you are an elected official and that you answer to the people that put you in that office. It's not just the people that give you money. It's not just the people that say, hey, I'm going to work and support you, but it's for the human benefit of the entire region. Not just, again, who supported me, the human benefit. And if you're not doing that, then it's past time to go. But for now, we'll just do our best to progress forward. People should vote for me because I'm personally taking this race on my back. It's kind of a situation of life or death, not only for me, but my children. Given the asthma rate of 22%, children have, some type of upper respiratory condition and or asthma in Allegheny County is a huge issue for me. If I'm going to stay true to myself and make sure that I'm healthy enough to raise healthy children, then this environment has to change. The politics around how we do things, the systems around how we do things have to change. And that's what I'm fighting for. That's what I've always fought for, and I will continue to fight for, even beyond this election. It just makes sense to me as a human that we have equitable resources. We have equitable policies that allow us to live our lives and become the best person that we want to become. That's what makes, in turn, our region so great. That's what makes our economy boom. That's what makes our roads work. That's what makes our transportation work. That's what keeps our Allegheny County Jail a humane place. That's what keeps our county executive accountable for the issues that are on the table. That's been too far gone from this county, especially because our county council is not that, old. So I think that as we move into this new era and a new imagination of what county council looks like, what county council does for its citizens, I know that I have what it takes, not only in innovation, but building on the very simplicity of our region. We have a very, 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 very simple region. And, it's beautiful. There are a lot of natural waterways, there are a lot of natural resources. We can definitely capitalize on those, not only as a government, but as a community, from our food, from our water, to our not just all of our natural resources as a whole, but it's also going to take us to become good stewards of that. It's also going to take, I mentioned before, some accountability in making sure that all the checks and balances and all the offices are taken care of. You should need to vote for me. You should vote for me because I can bring that direct initiative to the county council, and especially as we go into another 4 to 8 years of a new county exec. We've seen what the last few years have been like. We've felt what the last few years have been like. We've lived what the last few years have been like, and they haven't been the best years that Pittsburgh has had to offer, the best years that Allegheny County has to offer. So I need you to vote for me so that we can bring out what the best of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County have to offer.
Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so I can bring you more videos on subjects like this and many other topics. Please leave any comments in the comment section. Any questions or comments, I'll get back to them as soon as I possibly can. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.